the next 62 days until opening night of baseball, I'm going to be highlighting at least one or two players that you need rostered on your MLB teams. More so in dynasty leagues, but you can also plan ahead for guys like top prospects coming up and just sleeper guys that I think are going to break out this year. So without further ado, let's hop into the series. The first player I want to acknowledge is an A's prospect, actually not even a top 30 prospect in the A's organization, but a guy that really stood out last year, and that was probably had his best season in his 5 or 6 years in the minor leagues. And that is a guy named Junior Perez. So this is somewhat of a reading situation here, but I'll give you a little rundown of what we're looking at here. So again, a very intriguing outfield prospect from the A's. Very underrated because you can't even find him on the MLB Top 30 website or even prospects in general. And I mean, it's not like he's a 26, 27-year-old prospect. I can't overlook a guy who's 24 who, like you can read the stats here, 26 home runs last year and 27 stolen bases, along with an exceptional walk rate. I mean, 87 walks in 2025 alone. This is at the Double-A level and Triple-A level, more so Double-A, but he had a really good Triple-A year, which we'll get into actually in a little bit. One concern he does have is his batting average, his career batting average is .229. So a guy that's going to probably swing and miss more than you expect. Not really going to hit for contact, but if we're going to look at the positives here, it's that he batted .290 in his last 150 at-bats in AAA. So if that's not encouraging, I don't know what is. He's more so known for his raw power. Pretty much his whole minor league career. It's just putting together the on-base average, on-base percentage, as well as the, getting the average up from, low 200s to middle Mendoza line and even like 250 in a way. And we'll also go over one more concern I have for him, and most people will have, is where does he fit in Major League Baseball? Because there's no point of drafting a guy that you don't think is going to make the Major League level this year or even in the next few years. I mean, in my eyes, this is definitely more of a dynasty piece. I'd look for this guy to really, really play well in 2027, 2028. But if he has a really good spring, if he has a really good maybe month or two in AAA, this guy can come up and make a huge impact for the Athletics. So we're actually going to look at his stats. This is one of the websites I really enjoy using. Very similar to Baseball Savant, but as you can see at the top of the screen, it's called Prospect Savant. And what it does is it highlights every minor league baseball player, whether it's a top prospect or just any player in the minor league level. So this is his AAA stats from last year. Sorry, I didn't mean to go down that much. It was more so in Double-A. Excuse me. More so in Double-A, like I said earlier, but with limited ABs, I think it was 150 ABs in AAA here. These are the percentiles that he was throwing in. I always like to look at the PS score. That's the player score. So it's out of 100 points. So 95 out of 100. It's very, very good. It's the 95th percentile of guys in AAA last year. So, and that's really encouraging. The expected on-base percentage in the 80th percentile. It's pretty good. Batting average as a whole wasn't great, but again, they expect more from him given his stats. Slugging was good, 84th percentile with that. EV was kind of down, but his max EV is exceptional at one. I'm going to round it up to 114. When I like actually looking more so than anything, when I look at prospects, is I love looking at barrel percentage. So barrel percentage is going to be how, home run wise. EV is how hard you hit the ball. EV plays a big factor in barrel percentage. So having a 16.5 barrel percentages, anything over 10 is immaculate, in my eyes at least. And 95th percentile is pretty good for a guy that weighs 165 and is only 6 foot tall. We talked about the walk rate earlier, 16.5% walk rate. That lists him in the 91st percentile in all of AAA batters. That's pretty good. His whiff percentage actually is low, but his chase rate is one of the best in all of baseball, which is very interesting to see. Because when you have a high whiff rate, a high K rate even, but your chase percentage is one of the best in baseball, that's a pretty unique stat to have. And so he doesn't swing outside the zone. That's what we can get from that. So not only that, I know the whiff and K rate is very concerning, but again, that's always things you can improve on. He's only 24. He has to, this is a make or break year for him. Like if he shows really good play discipline again, gets the whiff percentage down from like 30 to 27, 25 ideally, I think he's going to be pretty well noted in the MLB this year if he can make the team. Another stat though that I really, really enjoy seeing is the 89th percentile speed rating. Having 25-25 season in any level of minor league baseball is pretty exciting to see, and you can tell if he gets home base and it's not a home run, he's going to be a steal threat for sure, which is great to see. And that's what you want. With me playing underdog baseball, this is actually my first year playing, I always look at in my last few picks in the 19th, 20th rounds, I would love to see like the 20-20 potential, 25-25 potential. Somebody who can get me, who can hit home runs for me, but also steal bases. Anyways, I know I'm rambling on, but we're going to head to actually an article that was put out. This is back in September 2nd of last year, so fairly recent. It actually talks about how Junior Perez is given a pretty lofty comparison to actually a really good player in Major League Baseball. I was really intrigued to see this. Really intriguing to see this name pop up, but Mark Katze, manager of the A's, is actually being interviewed, and he was talking about some of the prospects that he can potentially see come up next year, or even in a few years. And Junior Perez's name came up, and he comes out of nowhere and says, Julio's, more accomplished and more polished than Perez, but he's a guy that can be in the similar ballpark, which I can clearly see him. His ceiling is definitely a Julio type prospect, because anytime you can have that really good pop, good defense, and also be able to steal bases, that's something that that everybody wants on their team. And mind you, the A's are going to be playing in a AAA ballpark for a few more years to come. So whether you're in a dynasty league or you want to make the most of it for your last outfield spot, this is definitely a guy I think can make a big splash and is worth it if he can have a great spring and come up in the next level. So I know I rambled on a little bit too much, guys, but if you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe. Definitely comment, because I'd love to hear your feedback on a few more prospects. And like I said, we're going to be highlighting, at least 60, arguably more, until opening night. So I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thanks.